guys, this is another episode in the Allan's Answers podcast. Sorry about that. And today I got 4 questions for us. The first one comes from Apostle Jack, and they ask, what makes you feel good about being alive? And they add in a note about when they seek something worthwhile, they never give up. And I have to say that's pretty much a good answer to your own question, you know? I feel like what personally makes me feel good to be alive is about experiencing happiness and enjoyment and excitement in life. And it doesn't necessarily have to be me feeling the happiness firsthand, you know, like me seeing just somebody else be happy or somebody else getting what they want or living life to the fullest. I guess that's kind of contagious and inspiration and makes me feel good about being alive as well, you know. It's not necessarily just what it is about you feeling good about being alive, but it's also about seeing and just, it also can go the way where if you see somebody enjoying life, you can feel sad that you don't feel the same way if you're in a negative situation at the time, you know. But I feel like it's contagious, and what makes me feel good about feel good about being alive, like events that would make me feel something, is like being relaxing and having a good time with my loved ones, accomplishing success in my dreams, and just I guess living life the way I would want to live it. And it doesn't always happen that way, but just the optimism and the feeling that it will the next time just keeps me going on to see for the other days, you know. And that's just my opinion about it, but hopefully that was what you're looking for. And then the second question comes from Small, and they ask, why do we go so far to convince others that our opinions are the right ones? If we're sure, why seek approval? And I feel like this is a good question, because I feel like that the whole reasoning behind trying to get others on your side, you know, is basically because the reassurance, and there's not really a right or wrong way to live your life, but if everybody is on your side when you live your life or with a certain view that you hold, it just gives you the confidence and then the motivation to continue that, and it makes you feel like you're on the right path, you know? Like, even though you're completely sure on that, like, I remember this one time I had a bet about whether MGM Studios was in Disney World, and I was 100% positive, but just because more than one person had the opposite viewpoint, I started to back down and not be so confident in my viewpoint, you know. But even though I was right in the end, I just didn't feel right at the time, and unfortunately that's a way that we can be manipulated. But if you are 100% right, you always have to be confident in your decision no matter what your environment is doing. And I think approval is a major part of why we live life. I wrote a note about approval in the past, you know. And approval, self-esteem is a great quality to have because it shows that you have approval for yourself and that you like the way things are going with your life. But approval from the outside and external forces, just like I said before, it's a reassurance, and it's just a great feeling inside when you aren't the only one experience a similar feeling and everybody else is on your side as well. And Moises Diaz asks, how can an event transform a person's life? And I feel like this is a good question because it kind of brings to light why we remember certain things over another, you know? And I feel like a life-changing event would certainly be a memory. And an event that can transform a person's life, it can be anything that can cause extreme emotions, because I feel like strong emotions are basically markers in what we remember. Like, if we felt so happy one day, we will never forget how we felt that day, and therefore we will remember what made us feel that way, and that's the event. And how an event can transform a person's life is by making them experience these certain events. And it also can happen if it completely modifies and basically flips their world upside down, and from what they've known in the past no longer is applicable to how their life is going in the future, you know? And it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. The way I personally feel like it is, I am really slow to adapt to change, and I always feel like once I adapt to it, it changes again, you know? So, but there's always events that are going to change our lives every single day, because basically everything we don't decide to do is it could lead us to a completely different life in our future, but we'll never know that because we can't go back in time and change it, you know? But it's just, you have to keep living currently with the day-to-day and just take every single action and event that you participate in and try your best and live it to the fullest, and then that'll help you achieve the most positive transformation events in your life. So hopefully that helps you. And then I don't even know how to pronounce that name, but they ask, is there a difference between fact and truth? And I feel like their definitions are kind of synonymous with each other, you know, like what's fact is truth and what's truth is a fact. And not necessarily true, because what can be your true feelings isn't necessarily fact, it's opinion. Like if you really hate somebody, it could be the truth in your mind, but it's not necessarily a fact, because not everybody else feels the same way as you do, you know? But and that's a good point to like kind of segue into my next point about how truth is more human. Fact can't be affected or isn't dependent upon the human, you know? Fact is fact. It'll always be that way regardless of what happens in this environment and regardless of the humans and the participants involved, you know? Truth can be construed and modified and changed and just completely messed around with by humanity, and that means that it's not necessarily going to end up being the exact same as fact, you know? Fact is concrete, but truth might be based upon a concrete subject, but all the abstract parts of the human emotions come involved and completely affect the outcome. So that's just my opinion on it, and hopefully that answered your question, and hopefully I answered your questions, and maybe you want to post another one here on Yahoo Answers Philosophy, and that'd be awesome, and hopefully I'll get to it in the future, and look forward to tomorrow. See you guys then. Bye.